El esclavo también quiere clases. ¿Qué esclavo tan peculiar? Hola, Saikano, estoy muy bien. ¿Y tú cómo estás? Hester Iván, yo apenas puedo con mi español, pero podríamos empezar a hacer clases y tú podrías ir aprendiendo de a poco. Gente, compartan en Facebook. Sí, compartan. Si quieren, se unen a la clasecita de inglés. Que tal vez la hagan. Se ve que están muy emocionados por la clase. Te mereces muchos suscriptores. Muchas gracias. Gracias en serio por tantos mensajes bonitos. Buenas tardes, Miguel. ¿Cómo estás? Mira mis coletas. Gracias por ese cumplido, por las coletas. Yo apenas hablo español y con malas palabras. No, no digas eso. Bueno, podrías aprender otras palabras interesantes en el inglés. Blood Dragon, I'm glad to have you here. I hope you stay longer. Para mí también son nuevos juegos. Los juegos que he estado jugando es genial. Me sorprende mucho con las cosas que salen en estos juegos, en serio. ¿Qué estás aprendiendo? Enjoy yourself. ¿Un tercer idioma? ¿Japonés quizás? No, no digas eso. Tú sabes muy bien español, Alba. Entonces, ¿cómo me estarías escribiendo? No, yo nunca había jugado esos juegos antes. Bueno, a excepción de San Andreas. Ese sí lo había jugado antes. Pero el resto no tenía ni idea de qué trataban. El idioma que mejor se me da, quizás el idioma de las flores. Comunicarme con la tierra. Tú sabes, cosas de flores. Hola, hola Fernando, bienvenido. Qué bueno que te pasas por aquí. Enjoy. ¿Estabas aprendiendo francés? Oh, sería genial. A mí también me gusta mucho el francés. Pero ahora estás estudiando japonés. Oh, también es interesante. El francés es algo complicado. San Andreas épico. Hola Gabriel, qué bueno tenerte por aquí. Buenas tardes, Rayman. ¿Cómo vamos? Enséñanos el idioma de las flores, enséñanos florenis. Son sonidos muy peculiares. No sé si los humanos lo puedan interpretar bien. Me alegra mucho que te encante, Álvaro. Oh, me congelaste. Con tus palabras me congelaste. Ok. Vamos a empezar entonces. A ver. ¿A dónde está el juego? No sé si ya están escuchando el juego. Creo que no. Ya, volví a la vida. Con práctica, Mike. y mucha dedicación podrías aprenderlos. Tienes que rodearte del idioma, ver muchos videos, leer mucho. Claro, tomará su tiempo, pero algún día lo lograrás. Hola, Shai, estoy muy bien, ¿y tú cómo vas? Hola, PJ, ¿cómo estás? ¿Llegaste? Llegaste justo a tiempo, vamos a empezar. Kyria es del suelo. Sus raíces están esparcidas por el mundo. Hola, Daniel, ¿cómo estás? Vamos a empezar, ahora sí. ¡Oh! No se ve. ¿Ahora se ve? No sé si lo están viendo. Ah, sí, creo que sí se ve. Oh, pero lo que no se ve soy yo. ¿Qué está pasando? ¿A dónde se ha ido la flor? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? Aquí estoy. ¿Volvió la flor? ¿Qué pasó con mi flor? Ya va a volver a la vida eventualmente. Con algo de agüita volverá a la vida. La flor necesita agua para moverse. ¡Ay, volví! Hola. Ahora sí. Hola, Mix.
This is the story
Mox?
of a man named Stanley.
Hi.
Stanley worked for a company in a
Veamos
big
esta
building
historia.
where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley era feliz. Solo
And then one
presionando
day,
botones.
something very peculiar happened.
Interesante.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Algo pasó.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
¿Qué pasó aquí? Stanley estaba trabajando en su oficina, de repente no funcionó su computador, ninguna orden. ¡Ay, ya no puedo abrir! ¿Qué hice? Hola, Suga, ¿cómo vas? ¿Ese juego te trae nostalgia? Oh. Bueno, lo vamos a recordar hoy. A ver. Ábreme la puerta, señor. No hay nadie, solo era yo la que estaba ahí. Stanley.
All of his
¿Lo abre?
co-workers were gone. What could it
¿Dónde
mean?
me paré?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok.
No matter how hard
Les voy a
Stanley
decir un
looked,
poquito de
he
qué
couldn't find a
trata
trace
este
of his
juego.
co-workers.
Pero para de hablar para poder yo hablar. Bueno, la cuestión es que estamos en una oficina y algo pasó. De repente no funcionó su computador. El protagonista es un oficinista que le encanta teclear botones. Qué buena descripción. Entonces va a estar narrándonos una persona, un hombre, y nos va a estar diciendo qué hacer. Nosotros decidiremos si hacer lo que él dice o no. Y depende de lo que decidamos, van a pasar cosas. Pero yo, como soy rebelde, creo que no le voy a hacer mucho caso. A ver qué puede pasar. Ok, ya está siendo un poco más complicado leer todo el chat. Con todos los finales que hay, nunca lo acabé al 100. Oh. Sí, tiene bastantes finales. Vamos a ver cuántos hago ahorita. No puedo abrir las puertas. ¿Qué pasa si me quedo aquí? ¿Qué va a decir el narrador? Dime algo, háblame. ¿Y si me devuelvo? ¿Qué me podría decir? ¿Seguro me va a decir algo? Hola, háblame. Háblame, señor. Pobre narrador.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office,
Oh.
but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh, que no funciona tocar nada. Tocar todo esto. Ay, pero sonó una tecla. Creo que el narrador va a perder su paciencia muy rápido. Esta flor no quiere moverse. Ay, una flor. Bueno, no es una flor. ¡Ábranme la puerta! ¡Ábranme! ¿Por qué me dejaron? ¿Por qué se fueron todos? Uy, está roto eso allá. ¿Qué significa eso? ¿Algo pasó ahí? Hay una nota en el piso. Uy, café también en el piso. Sospechoso. ¿Alguien vio una nota? Le dijo a todos sus compañeros si escaparon por la ventilación. ¿Soy mala? ¿Soy Stanley, el malo? Bueno, no funciona nada.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Dice que entré a la puerta de la izquierda. No sé si hacerle caso. No, mejor no.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ya sé que esta no es el camino hacia la sala de juntas. No quiero ir allá. Si cierro la puerta, no cierra.
Ah, yes,
Oh,
truly a
cold
room
drinks.
worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Me lo estaba tomando todo.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room.
Sí,
A
vale la pena
room so
estar aquí.
utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Me quedé mirando aquí todo esto según el narrador.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his
Lo que
overall
está diciendo el
personality.
narrador.
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
No sé quién es más trágico, el Stanley o el narrador.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Daniel, ¿me traicionaste? No lo puedo perdonar. Pero todavía es muy poco para sacar mi modo
But at
llanero.
last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
A ver, dice que tomé la primera puerta a la izquierda, pero no lo voy a hacer.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Uy, qué grosero. Que soy muy mala siguiendo direcciones. ¿Y ahora? Uy, eso está alto.
Look, Stanley, I think
Ay.
perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
No soy tu
I realize that
enemigo.
investing your trust in someone else can be
¿Dónde
difficult,
estamos
but the
yendo?
fact
¿Qué
is
es
that the
esto?
story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
¿Qué? ¡Ay, no, no! ¡Eso fue
But in his
accidental!
eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Me
Good
arrollé a mi
job, Stanley.
muerte.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
No, Stanley. Y eso que fue accidental. No puede ser. No puede ser. No te voy
All
a
of his
hacer
co-workers
caso.
were
Me hiciste
gone.
morir.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
El narrador tenía que haber sido un poquito más estricto con sus órdenes. Así no hubiera muerto yo. Bueno, esta vez me voy a ir.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Por allá,
open
pero
doors,
no me
this
voy a
was not
matar.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Me
first,
morí,
just
sí.
to admire it.
Ya empezaron las Fs.
Wow. Yes, this room.
Oh, sí.
What a beautiful room.
What a
What a
beautiful
gorgeous,
room.
gorgeous room.
What a gorgeous,
Thank goodness Stanley had
gorgeous
taken this
room.
detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Ay, la vida sin haber experimentado esta habitación era muy horrible. Ok.
Yes,
comentarios.
really. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Que no, no toque, no, no tomé esa puerta. No voy a tomar ese camino.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Bien, pero esta vez no me voy a matar. Creo.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you
No, pero se ve
all
muy
this
chévere.
time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is
Hi.
it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Oh.
She's been waiting.
¿Quién me está esperando? ¿Mi esposa? Oh, o sea que está divorciado de Stanley. por no seguir órdenes. Bueno, no me voy a matar otra vez. No lo hagas, Kyria, no. Controla tu obsesión con tirarte de lugares altos. No puedo. Me llama. ¡Ay, me llama! ¡No! Bueno, no lo haré. Le voy a hacer caso. Un poquito. Ay, eso está muy oscuro, no.
That's her, Stanley.
Ah,
You need to be the one to do
ella?
this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Uy, me está llamando una señora. No sé quién es. Creo que es mi esposa. A ver si puedo solucionar lo rebelde que soy. Bueno. ¿Oh? ¡Ah! ¿Qué pasó? 4:25.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
¿Qué?
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
¿Qué?
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh. ¡Ay!
Gotcha.
¿Qué?
Oh, come on.
¿Me
Did you
engañó?
actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Uy, qué desgraciado. ¿Cómo me hace eso?
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
No, yo no quiero estar en tu historia. Quítate, déjame pasar. ¿Cómo me engaña así? Me dijo que iba a ver a mi esposa y luego se burló de mí en la cara.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
¿Qué? ¿La muerte? Buenos días, empleado. 427, presione 2 en su teclado. ¿Pero qué? No, y si no quiero presionar 2. A ver. Presiono todo. Hola, maniquí. Vamos a empezar una pelea. Como en Undertale. ¿Quieres pelear? Ven aquí. Si miro arriba, no hay nada. Si intento ir allá, tal vez me caiga por la ventana, como siempre. Chample. Le haré caso.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the
Uy.
inconsequential nature of his existence.
Pero qué grosero. Me está haciendo sentir como Stanley.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Pero
Now
si
he's
eso fue lo
pushing
que
a
me
button.
dijiste.
Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even
qué
feel sorry
monótono.
for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Pues si él quiso así, está bien por él, ¿no? ¿Tú quién eres para decir si está mal o bueno? A ver, presiono.
But in
sí.
his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
No quiero
From
estar
behind his
aquí.
desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
¿Es en serio? 5 para mirar TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
No quiero que me escribas mi vida, me quiero ir. Y si me quedo ahí, me voy a quedar quieta. A ver si me dice algo. Voy a mirar este maniquí justo a los ojos. Hola. ¿Puedes ver eso? Pues yo no. Señor narrador, ¿qué me va a decir ahora? Me voy a quedar quieta hasta que me diga algo razonable. Por eso la gente que trabaja en cubículos ya están muertos por dentro. ¿Por qué? Algunos no. A Stanley le gustaba, por ejemplo. No me va a decir nada, ¿en serio? Creo que no me va a decir nada. Estoy esperando, señor. Ay, le voy a hundir 8.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either.
Ay,
At
por
last,
fin.
choice. It barely
¿Vas a
even
creer
mattered
puertas?
what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Pero ¿por qué? Ya llegué a mi casa imaginaria.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls.
No,
And
esto
down
es una
another was a yellow
pesadilla.
line that weaved in many
Atrapada en un
directions. And down
cubículo.
another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Oh. ¿Cool para contarle a los niños la historia?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Seguro la esposa lo va a rechazar. Pobre Stanley, como que nadie lo quiere.
But there is no answer. How could there
¿sí
possibly
ven?
be?
Ni
In
siquiera le
reality, all he's
respondió.
doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
¿En serio estaba feliz? Al principio dijo que estaba feliz haciendo esto, presionando botones. Feliz inventándose una vida.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
La primera, no lo haga. Yo ya no sé qué hacer. Bueno, no lo voy a hacer entonces. No voy a presionar ningún botón, ahora sí. Él me lo dijo, conste. ¿En serio? Hubo gente que se aventó horas en algunos puntos del juego para sacar algo y no pasó nada, o sí pasó algo interesante. Oh, este reloj me desespera. No. Sí, voy a presionarlo porque me
You
quiero
see?
ir ya de aquí.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Por favor, presione K para cuestionar nada.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must.
No, no me expliques.
Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Por favor,
And
muera.
Stanley pushed a button.
¿Qué?
And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
¿Qué acaba
And I
de pasar? ¡Ay! ¡Se murió! ¡Se murió! ¡Se murió! ¿Qué? ¿Really? Bueno, te mueres por presionar un botón. Ahora sigamos otra vez.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
todos
room.
me
Perhaps
dejaron?
he had
¿Por
simply
qué?
missed a
¿Por qué?
memo.
¿Por qué? Bueno, creo que esta vez le voy a hacer caso. Pero al principio.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Me
door
voy
on his
por la
left.
izquierda.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tampoco había
Feeling
nadie
a wave
aquí.
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Tips para no ser despedido. Ahí decía. ¿Cómo resolver? ¿Qué? ¿Cómo resolver una disputa? ¿Qué clase de compañía es esta? Sí, todos son únicos. Yo soy una flor, por ejemplo. Solo le voy a hacer caso por un ratito.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
¿Subir? Bueno, voy a subir. ¿Se viene directo a 10 horas? ¿What? No estaría mal, en serio. 10 horas. Podría pasar, pero no. Al menos no con este juego. Quiero ir al baño. Uy. No pensé que se abriría. A ver. Ay, ¿qué dice aquí? Ser rico es un crimen. Cometer crímenes. ¿No es esto ser rico? ¿Qué vida? ¿Qué vida sería tener que escoger solo una? ¡Wow! Se puso profundo. No, mis directos no son de 10 horas. Solo que lo están sugiriendo por ahí. A ver. Ser rico es un crimen. Cometer crímenes es ser rico. What the fuck? ¿Por qué hay una revista sobre baños en el baño? ¿Quién leería eso? ¿Instrucciones para ir al baño? ¡Ay! Pensé que ya no podría salir. Hola, Oreki Senpai, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenido. A ver, ¿qué hay aquí? ¡Ay! Uy, No era por aquí. Pero bueno, ya me voy a ir. La gente que no sabe usar el baño. Esa música susurra Stanley de una manera maluquita. Hola, Oreki, muchas gracias. Qué lindo. Ay, estoy cayendo. Estamos bajando, subiendo. Subiendo, bajando. No. Ábranme, ábranme. ¿Es el mismo lugar? No, yo iba a bajar. ¿O subir? Bajemos. Vamos a presionar el de abajo. Ay, se dañó. ¿Es en serio? ¿Es la misma habitación? Quiero bajar. Flor elevada. Yo siempre. Quiero bajar. Pero no baja, está averiado. Hola, senpai. Mío, mi senpai. Bueno, sigamos.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
No, no podía saberlo.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
¿Cuál pasillo? ¿Qué carajos? ¿Por qué su jefe tendría una puerta escondida? Pasajes escondidos, qué raro. A ver, ¿dónde llegamos? Me voy por aquí. No se ve nada. Presionemos ese botón.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
¿Qué quieres de mí, narrador? ¿Qué quieres?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control Facility? Escape. Escapemos. Sí, me voy de aquí. Adiós. Ya no te voy a hacer caso.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
¿Qué? Otra vez voy a morir si me voy por aquí. Pues me voy a ir por aquí, tal vez no muera.
The
Me
door
está
behind him
engañando.
was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get
No
back
quiero
on
regresar
track.
atrás, no me digas qué hacer.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
No creo que vaya a morir. ¿O sí? Nah. Oh. ¿Sí voy a morir? Tal vez no. ¡Ah! ¡No! ¡Me morí! No. ¡Ay, no! ¡Estoy viva! Estoy viva, me estaba engañando.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real
Ay,
story,
ahora sí me voy a
trapped
morir.
forever in his
No,
narrow
no,
vision
no, no,
of
no,
what
no.
this world is.
No,
Perhaps his death was
quédate
of
quieto,
great
no,
loss
no.
when plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ay, miren eso. No. Ay, ¿qué pasó?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body,
Uy.
killing him instantly.
Feo. Ah, no morí. What? ¿Estoy muerta? Un logro desbloqueado. No puede saltar. Vaya. Qué gran logro. No puedo saltar. ¿Qué es esto?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
No.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
¿A dónde llegué? Esto está mejor que mi
When every
oficina.
path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Uy, se
Do you
puso
see
ahí.
now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Uy, ya estaba muerto desde que inició la partida. Se puso intenso. Esos comentarios. ¿Este es un final? Si los apago todos. ¿En serio? ¿Este es un final? Aquí están los créditos y todo. ¿Esto es un final? Para mí es el mejor comienzo. Si esta es mi nueva oficina, pues yo quiero que se termine ya todo. ¿Qué es eso? 0, 0. Que me llamen, llámenme. Con esto ya llego a 3 finales, ¿en serio? Tengo que reiniciar entonces, pero vamos a ver qué hay aquí. Switches. Uy, ¿qué pasó? Creo que se trabó. ¡Se bugueó! ¡No! Se acaba de pegar un super bug. Es parte del juego, ya no sé qué pensar. ¿Es mi computador? ¿Es el juego? ¡Ay! No, soy yo. Es el juego que se dañó al parecer. Aunque en este juego no sé si eso sea normal. ¿Es normal? ¿No es normal? ¿Se bugueó? Bueno, igual ya era un final. A ver. Sí, efectivamente se bugueó. Ay, no. ¿Funcionó? No. De nuevo no funciona. No, ¿cuál era el final? Quería ver ese final. ¿Qué había ya? Bueno, volver a comenzar. Tremendo final. Así es como me despiden.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
A ver, voy a intentar abrir todas las puertas. No abre. Ábrete, hay algo ahí abajo. ¿Puedo verlo?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Voy a
door on his
seguir
left.
haciéndole caso. Te voy a hacer caso por un momento largo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Uy, vamos de nuevo donde el jefe.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in
Y
his
voy muy
tracks.
rápido.
Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845.
Hazlo tuyo,
Statistically,
narrador, eso.
nearly impossible to guess blindly, ever. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random
Y lo
buttons on the
hiciste, lo
keypad,
hiciste.
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Engáñame,
Amazing.
sígueme engañando.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ahora sí no me voy a morir. Tal vez. Ay. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Se apagó la... ¿Qué es esto? Y me retrocedo. Ay, no. Bueno, no puedo retroceder ya.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that
Ahora
read
sí,
Mind
vayamos
Control
allá.
Facility.
No me puedo tirar. Uy, ¿qué es esto? ¿A dónde llegamos? ¿Qué es esto? ¿Qué es esto?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Uy,
What horrible secret
puras
did this
pantallas de
place hold?
televisión.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
¿Qué secreto había? ¿Qué secreto había? A ver, díganme, díganme. Ah, hay que seguir por aquí, no había visto. Siempre ciega, nunca inciega. Hay que presionar un botón. Me tiro por aquí. Señor, dígame qué hay que hacer, señor, hábleme. ¿Y si apago esto? Pues yo me voy, adiós. Ya no abre, ya no abre. Me encerraste aquí, también me quieren matar otra vez. Todo es una conspiración, me quiere matar, él me quiere matar. Uy. Ah, ahí está. ¿Cómo no lo vi?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Ooh.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's
Nos
co-workers.
espían.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Oh. Uy, qué increíble. Saber que esto sí es real. Yo creo que espían mucho a la gente en esas oficinas. Pero no hay nadie. Fired. Ese que dice fired, despedido, debe ser Stanley. Está súper genial.
Emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly.
Oh.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
Creo que me voy a
Never.
morir.
It was unthinkable. Wasn't it?
Tengo
Was it
miedo.
even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
¿Qué? ¿Me caigo?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Ooh.
Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold
Qué
reality of his
crazy.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Uy, ¿iba a desmantelar los controles? No, y si me quiero ir a otro lado. Ahí se supone que se quitan, pero no le voy a hundir. ¿Qué pasa si bajo aquí? Nada, no me va a decir nada. A ver, aquí hay una salida. No. Uy. ¿Y eso qué es? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué hice? ¿Se mueve algo? No se mueve nada. Vamos a subir a ver qué hay. Por aquí llegué. Es un ascensor, ¿no? No lo es. ¿A dónde más puedo ir? No quiero presionar el botón. ¡Ay! De aquí vine. Uy, les controlan la mente. Mind control status offline. Uy, ¿qué es esto? Ahora sí llegó la Kyria hacker.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
No, no lo voy a hacer.
Oh, Stanley, no. You didn't just activate the controls, did you? No. After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
No, Stanley,
you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
No, no,
You're
no,
only
no,
still
no,
playing
no,
instead
no,
of
no.
watching a cutscene because I want to
No,
watch
no,
you for
el
every
botón
moment
3,
that you're
sí.
powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then
No, no,
nothing.
no.
No ending
No,
here.
30
Just you
segundos,
being blown
30
to
segundos.
pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail
no.
life? Or will
Voy
you
a
let it
hundirle
go
un botón
peacefully?
de esos a ver qué
Another
pasa. Ay,
choice.
no.
Make it count. Or
No,
don't.
no.
It's all the same to me.
10
All
segundos,
a
no
part of the
alcanzo,
joke.
ya no alcanzo.
And believe me,
No
I will
alcanzo,
be
no,
laughing at
no.
every second of your inevitable
No,
life from the
no,
moment we
no.
fade in until the moment
No,
I say
no, no.
happily ever after.
Ay, no. ¿Qué pasó? Le alcancé a hundir, entonces, ¿qué hice? ¿Qué hice? ¿Qué pasó? ¡Morí! ¡No! ¡No! ¡Me morí! FF. Le tenía que presionar el botón con el número correcto. ¿Y cuál era el número correcto? ¿El 3?
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Ya voy en 4 finales. Bueno, esta vez me voy a ir por la
When
puerta
Stanley
de
came
acá.
to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Esta no es
Stanley
la
knew it
puerta
perfectly
correcta,
well.
claro que no es.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
No
first,
te voy a
just
hacer
to
caso,
admire
tú
it.
siempre me llevas a la muerte. Cierro la puerta.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
¿Sí? Tú dices que me fui por aquí, pero no me voy a ir por ahí. Ciérrate, ciérrate, ciérrate. No se cierra. Ay, pero este final ya lo habíamos visto. Bueno, voy a ir por
And so
aquí.
he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
No, esta vez vamos a bajar. El número correcto es al azar. Está bien.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's,
Está
left.
durando mucho. Ábreme esta, yo quiero ir a la derecha. Ábrela, ábrela. Ay, se puso oscuro.
Oh, no.
Ay.
No, it's to the right, my
Ay,
mistake.
¿Qué? No, no, me dijiste que por aquí.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, not the right.
¿Qué
Why
le
would I have
pasa?
ever said it was to the
¿Qué le
right?
pasa?
What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Revisando su libreto,
Let's see,
no.
we went down right, left,
¿Qué clase de
down,
narrador eres?
left,
No,
right.
ahora me va a llevar a morir
okay,
otra vez.
okay, yes. I've got it now.
Okay.
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
¿Estás seguro que es por aquí? Me acabas de decir que no 2 veces. Bueno, como 3 veces. ¿Por aquí? ¿Otra
No,
vez esto?
no, 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 no.
No?
This isn't right
¿Qué?
at all.
¿Qué?
You're not
¿Qué?
supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay,
No.
okay. We
No,
just
no,
had
no,
to
no,
get
no,
back
no.
to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No,
And this
restart,
time,
no.
suppose we don't wander
¿Qué
so
te
far off
pasa?
track,
¿Qué te pasa?
Okay, from the top.
Es en serio, ese ya fue otro final, ¿no? ¿O eso no fue un final?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Está bien. Voy a ir por la derecha.
When Stanley... Wait, what?
Uy, ¿qué
No,
pasó? ¿Qué pasó?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely
¿Qué?
fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change?
¿Diferente? Sí.
Stanley,
Hay
did
un
you
montón
change anything
de-
when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you
¿Qué
move the
hizo?
story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you?
Hay una
I'm the one who
hay
wrote the
unas puertas,
story.
¿no?
It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Uy.
Let's find the story.
Ah, interesante, ese no era un final. Entonces, vayamos por aquí. Me parece más alejado del otro, de la otra salida. Oh, ya me perdí. Acá hay papeles regados. ¿Qué pasó por aquí?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again?
No,
Well, I find it
no
unlikely that we'll ever
reinicies.
progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
¡No! Ahora sí me agarran a narrar
All of his
bien.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse.
¿En serio? Ya
I
no hay
might be
nada.
remembering this wrong.
No!
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
¿A dónde me lleva? A ver, abro esto. Tal vez esto pueda abrirse ahora. Ay, una flor. Bueno, no es una flor, otra vez no es una flor. Es una planta. ¿Alguna puerta de estas abre? 420. 420 y una rama al lado. Vaya.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something.
¿Qué es esto?
The story. Here it comes.
Se le olvidó contar la historia.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the
No
other
hay nada
way
aquí.
and retrace our steps.
Uy, ¿ahora qué está pasando? Esto es diferente ahora. Ahora es más feo. No.
Now
¿Qué va a
this...
pasar?
Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you
Gané,
put
¿en
in a
serio?
lot of hard work,
Gané,
and it
gané.
really
Sí,
paid off.
gané.
So, good
No sé
job.
qué gané, pero gané.
Oh, no. No,
No?
I don't feel right about this at
No?
all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those
¿Cómo
situations.
así está diciendo
Okay?
que no gané
I'm getting
justamente? Pero
weirded
si
out
ya
by
he
whatever this
pasado
place is.
como
I don't care what
5
might happen this
finales.
time. I have to
No,
restart.
no, 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 no. Yo quería ver qué había por allá. Qué grosero. Y ahora... Uy, ahora ya se pintó.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to
Muy
make sure
bien.
we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Perfecto, esto debería verlo en todos los juegos. Una línea que diga dónde tengo que ir. Por aquí, ¿en serio?
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in
Sí,
this
claro.
direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Claro, sabe dónde
Nope.
es.
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
Me-
Or to put it another way, is the story
Voy
of
para
no
atrás.
destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life
Pero
itself?
¿de qué estás
Okay, Stanley, I
hablando
need to
ahora? Se
follow
puso
this train of thought for a minute. Just stick
superfilosófico.
with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is, in fact, a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right?
¿Qué
Okay.
carajos?
Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative
What?
experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Todo esto
Hang
se
on.
lo inventó
That got a bit
obviamente.
weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Ay, esto se prendió todo. Esa música. Y ahora, ya no estoy escuchando. ¿Qué dice? Hola Kaiser, ¿cómo vas? Esa música ya está muy dura, no escucho nada. Sí, qué miedo. Y esa música que puso. Está muy duro, ¿cierto? ¿Lo estoy escuchando tan duro como yo? ¿Qué pasa con esa música? ¿Qué carajos está pasando? Es mejor así alto para que se enteren como yo. Esa música me está poniendo los nervios de punta. ¿Está fuerte? ¡Oh, esa música! ¡Ah! ¡Ay, qué está pasando! What's happening? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa esa música? ¡Ah! Bueno, ya está bajando, parece. Bueno, no parece. ¡Ay, señor! ¡Baje su música! Yo también la estoy escuchando muy duro. Pero no le voy a bajar el volumen porque no sería la misma experiencia. Ah, soy un títere ahora. Soy el títere, no me digas eso. ¿Qué quiere que me suba a la pared o qué? ¿Cómo me subo a la pared? ¿Cómo se supone que me voy a subir a la pared, señor narrador? ¿F? ¿F? ¿Por qué F? acostumbrados con esta música como yo. Ya, señor, pare su música. ¿Ya está parando?
Wait, cut the music.
Uy,
Go
por
back
fin,
and look at that
señor.
fern.
¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué fue eso? Bueno, ahora sí puedo ser rebelde.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is
What?
any of this ringing a bell?
Volvimos aquí, ¿en serio? ¿Me hizo todo esto para volver aquí? Diablos. Ahora no sé. Todos los caminos los ha escogido él. Así que ya no hay camino para ser rebelde. ¡No! ¿Es en serio?
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
No, I can't take this anymore. Oh, ¿de nuevo en serio?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the
No,
adventure line. What's
¿qué
it ever done
hace?
for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh,
Sí,
this all
hagamos
sounds perfectly
otra historia,
doable.
pero sin
Why don't
música,
we
por
simply
favor?
start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
This direction? Okay, let's go.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley
is
forging a new
exciting?
path,
Is
a
this
new story.
exciting?
Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Enloquece.
Whatever
Usa
it
tu
might be,
imaginación.
Stanley,
Bueno.
I'm ready for it.
¿Qué? 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 Ahora sí me enloquecí. Solo estamos andando en círculos. No. No, ya no hay círculo. Me voy a devolver. ¿Y si me devuelvo? Yo decido qué hacer, señor. Ahora sí, ábrame la puerta. Diablos. Me devuelvo aquí. No funciona, no funciona, no. Tengo que seguir de igual forma. Ay, aquí está prendido esto. Y ahora no está prendido. ¿Morí? ¿Cómo que morí? Oh, Brandis, vienes del futuro. Dime si por fin dejé la rebeldía o no la dejé. Este juego hace
Oh,
sentir que
no,
ya
not you
no
again. Stanley,
tienes
I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our
opción.
awesome new story.
Ya
No
no
lines
puedes
or
decidir
monitor
nada,
rooms.
nada.
Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Tiene que haber una parte donde no pueda hacerle caso. Me quitó la libertad de elegir, no. Mi libre albedrío.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a
Bien, por
decision.
fin.
From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact,
Sí,
I
voy a
believe I need a minute
arruinar
to
la
think here.
oportunidad.
Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each
No
door
voy a
has to
caminar en
lead
círculo.
somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the
diciendo
right,
ahora?
let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Pues quiero que se abra la otra, la de la izquierda. No, que se abra la de la izquierda. Y si camino al revés. Ábrete, puerta, ábrete, vamos, tú puedes. Este es un reflejo de mis elecciones en la vida. Diablos. Diablos, ¿eso qué significa? Que no sigo a nadie y luego sí lo sigo y luego no lo sigo.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending?
Es un final,
And we're
¿en
supposed to
serio?
restart the game, what, eight times?
8
That's
veces
really
ya.
how all this goes? It's all determined?
No.
So now, according to the
señor.
schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget?
Se
My mind
desquedó.
goes
Es lo
blank
que he
simply
hecho
because
yo.
it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted
Esto es todo lo
me?
que yo he
Why don't
hecho.
I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really?
Ya
No,
lo he
it can't be.
reiniciado por
I don't
8
want it to
veces.
be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Bueno,
I
no lo
won't
reinicie,
do
no lo
it.
reinicie.
And the timer
No.
stopped?
¿Qué?
Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule?
¿Qué
How would we
hice?
even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know,
Espera,
I suppose
no,
in
no
some
puedo
way
esperar.
that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not
¿Cómo
quite
voy a
sure if we're in the
esperar
destination
contigo?
or the journey.
¿Qué me
Though they're
quieres
always
hacer
saying that
aquí?
life is
Déjame
about the
ir,
journey
déjame
and not
ir.
the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll
Déjame
find out,
ir,
won't we?
déjame ir.
Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
¿Qué es eso? No. 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 ¿Qué es eso? Hey, Big Block. How are you doing? O ¿cómo estás? No sé si hablas español or do you speak English?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Block?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Enjoy yourself dice que la vida es un camino a ninguna parte. Diablos. Se puso intenso eso. El narrador tampoco tenía lecciones. Ahora sí empezamos normal, ¿no? Todo está normal, ¿no? Ahora, ¿qué puede pasar? ¿Qué podría pasar?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Parece que fue hace mucho tiempo que llegué hasta aquí. A ver. Izquierda, derecha, izquierda, derecha, izquierda, derecha. ¡Ay! No, yo me quiero devolver. ¡Ay, por favor! Me fui por la izquierda de nuevo, ¿ok?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
No hemos
Coming to a
bajado,
staircase,
creo.
Stanley walked upstairs
¿Sí
to his
bajamos?
boss's office.
Creo que no.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to
Creía que
Stanley.
estaba loco.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this,
nada
he began to
tiene
make
lógica
other
aquí, la
strange
verdad.
observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
¿Qué?
Why did doors close
puedo ver
automatically
mis-
behind
No,
him
tengo
wherever he
pies.
went?
No
And for
tengo
that
pies.
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
que no
Were they
tengo
simply
pies.
repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled.
Estoy
This is all a
llorando.
dream. Oh,
Digo,
what a relief
soñando,
Stanley
soñando,
felt to
pero
have
quiero
finally
llorar.
found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Estoy flotando,
Then he
flotando.
imagined himself
Sí,
soaring
imaginando, ay,
through
¿qué es
space on a
eso?
magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so
Diablos,
much
qué juego
fun,
tan loco.
and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of
Estoy
them all
volando
entered
todavía.
Stanley's head.
No sé,
One he
porque
was
ni siquiera
amazed he
tengo
hadn't
pies.
asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating
¿Por
everything
qué
that
hay
I'm
una
doing and
voz? ¿Por
thinking?
qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Qué estás
Now the
haciendo con
voice
mi
was
mente?
describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
¿No era
Was
un
Stanley
sueño
simply
eso?
deceiving himself? Believing that if
Entonces,
he's
¿qué era
asleep,
eso?
he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a
está
part of
pasando?
himself
Ay,
too,
ay.
surely,
No.
surely, if he could just...
No, cálmate,
He would
cálmate.
prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Era un sueño.
So he
en
closed his
serio.
eyes gently,
No,
and he invited
no
himself
cierres
to
los ojos.
wake
No,
up.
no, 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 no.
He felt the
No,
cool weight of
no.
the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream.
No, no, no.
I wish
no,
it to
no.
be over. Let me go back to my job.
No,
Let me
yo no quiero
continue
regresar
pushing
a
the
ese
buttons.
trabajo.
Please, it's all I want.
No,
I
eso no
want
es
my
todo lo que
apartment
quiero, no.
and my wife and my job. All I
Está
want
bien, si
is
está
my
feliz
life
con esa vida
exactly
tan
the way it's always
rara.
been. My life is normal. I am normal.
Todo estará
Everything
bien.
will be fine. I am okay.
I am okay. Desperté.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley.
Please,
I have a
please.
boss. I have an
Wake me
office.
up,
I am
wake me
real.
up.
Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who
What's
am
happening?
I?
No. Ay, ¿qué es
And
esto?
everything went black.
No, Black. Ay,
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
¿qué? ¿Mariela? Por favor.
Mariella woke up on a day
¿Cómo
like
que
any other.
Mariela?
She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body
Is
of
this
a man
Stanley?
who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon
¿Es
turn
en
to go
serio
call
este
for an
final
ambulance,
qué es?
for just a few brief
no es
moments,
un
she
final?
considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
Estaba
Everyone knows what
loco.
crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Wow.
Then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Se fue. Se murió. F. Hola, Nicolás. Muchas gracias. Oh, sí, ya somos con 500. ¿En serio? Estábamos en 400 cuando empecé, 400 y algo. Wow. Se puso muy denso y se murió. Se murió, no.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally.
También
This
se murió
is
el enemigo.
great, he thought to himself.
No sé qué
This
está
is what I've
pasando.
wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
En efecto, ya 500. Wow, muchas gracias, muchachos, en serio. Ahora son parte del Flower Squad. Muchas gracias, Enjoy.
No matter how hard Stanley looked,
Gracias por
he
estar
couldn't
desde
find a
el
trace of his
principio.
co-workers.
Y Juguito también estuvo casi desde el principio. No sé qué está pasando, creo que se congeló. ¿Se congeló todo? No, está bien. El juego está bien. Soy yo la que se congeló al saber que tenía 500. Oh, gracias, ustedes son los mejores. Y ahora no sé a dónde ir.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
Sí,
employee
me voy
lounge
por aquí,
first,
me voy por
just to
aquí.
admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No me acuerdo si ya fuimos por allá.
Stanley was so bad at following
que puedo hacer
directions,
algo
it's
diferente
incredible
si
he
me voy
wasn't
por acá
5
esta
years
vez?
ago.
Y allá hay una puerta. Ay, me voy a tirar
Look,
para
Stanley,
allá.
I think
Voy
perhaps
a
we've gotten
tratar
off
de
on the wrong foot
entrar
here.
allá.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that
Vamos,
investing your
sube.
trust in someone else can be
Tengo que
difficult, but
tirarme
the fact
al-
is
no.
that the story has been about
Tirarme
nothing but
bien.
you
¿Qué? Ay,
all
no,
this
ay, no
time.
era.
But in his eagerness
No,
to
me
prove that
morí.
he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do,
No,
Stanley leapt from
no
the
olviden
platform
tomar agua
and plunged
todos.
to his death.
Todos
Good
necesitamos
job,
agua.
Stanley. Everyone thinks
morí.
you are very powerful.
Quería ir por allá. ¿Es en serio? A ver, vamos a intentarlo
All of
otra
his
vez.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go
No
to the
había
meeting
notado
room.
esa
Perhaps
puerta.
he had simply missed a memo.
Voy por ti, puerta.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Esta vez no puedo caerme.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
A ver, él se supone que me va a llevar allá, justo al frente, pero yo quiero ir allá a la derecha. Solo que mis dedos piensan en izquierda cuando hundo derecha.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm
Tengo
not.
que hacerme
I
por
realize
acá.
that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult,
que
but the fact is that the
acá no
story has been
alcanza,
about
sí
nothing
alcanza.
but you all this
No creo que
time.
alcance aquí, si
There's
alcanza
someone
aquí.
you've been
¡Ay!
neglecting,
No,
Stan.
no alcancé.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the
No.
story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Me
Good
morí.
job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Tenía que ser un poquito antes.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Morí.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
ya
open
voy,
door
ya
on his
voy.
left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he
¿Será
wasn't
que si
5 years
alcanzo
ago.
desde aquí? Si me tiro desde ahí
Look, Stanley,
directamente a
I
la
think perhaps
derecha.
we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
No sé.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust
¿Será
in
que me
someone else
tiro?
can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Listo.
There's
Aquí,
someone you've
aquí,
been
aquí.
neglecting,
No,
Stanley.
no
But in
puede
his
ser.
eagerness to prove that he is in control of
No.
the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley.
Me voy a
Everyone
tirar
thinks you are
directamente a
very
la derecha.
powerful. All of his co-workers were
Ay,
gone.
¿qué es eso?
What could
No.
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
¿Y ahora qué pasó? Esto ya está diferente. Ya está diferente, ¿por qué?
When Stanley came to
Vaya.
a set of 2 open doors, he entered the
Me
door on his
adelantó.
left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
¿Este
and
es otro
Stanley knew it
final?
perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to
Todo es
business,
lo mismo.
Stanley took the first open
Excepto
door
al
on his left.
principio. ¿Qué puede haber cambiado ahora? Al haber muerto como
Stanley was
3
so bad
veces.
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Sí, me tiro
Look, Stanley, I think
directamente a
perhaps
la
we've
derecha
gotten
o
off on
no?
the wrong foot here.
El chat
I'm
está
not your
atrasado y no
enemy,
puedo
really,
ver
I'm
si me
not.
dicen que sí
I
o no.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has
Sí,
been
me voy a
about
tirar.
nothing but
¡Ay!
you. Really?
Ay,
I was
me
in the
ahogué.
middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Sí,
Why,
tú quieres que
I don't
me
know
pase
how to
algo
convince you
malo.
of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Ay, no quiero darte chance. Pero puedo entrar por aquí, de pronto puedo entrar por esta puerta también. ¿No? ¿Cómo que no? Me escapé, jaja. No abre. Tampoco abre. Uy, se cerró. ¿Se cerró? No se cerró, sí se cerró.
Now listen carefully, this is
Uy,
important.
este es nuevo.
Stanley walked through the red door.
No, no voy a ir por la roja.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through
¿Qué?
the red
¿Me volvió
door.
en serio? ¿En serio? No, 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 no. Me voy por la azul.
I still don't think we're communicating properly.
No,
Stanley
no.
walked through the red door.
Que no, no.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've
Sí,
chosen?
quiero ver
Well,
qué hay al
don't
final
let
de
me
aquí.
stop you. You see? There's nothing here.
Nada.
I haven't even finished building this
Pero
section
es
of the map
diferente.
because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed
regañe,
developer
señor.
textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into
Está
that?
enojado
Because
ya.
I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill
quiero
trees?
ver algo.
Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
Uy,
Tell you
está
what,
súper
let me take a
enojado.
stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already
eso me
feels
gusta.
leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
¿Y si no la tomo? Y se me cerró la puerta. ¡Ay, no! Wow,
Okay,
¿qué es
I'm
eso?
going to
Esto
stop
ya
you
es
there.
diferente.
Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
A ver, nos está pidiendo que lo
A one?
califiquemos.
I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Wow, ¿qué es eso? Está más bonito ahora. Hemos logrado algo. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Facebook? Do you know that 21 of players skipped the intro sequence? How long does it take you to get the correct door? Me toma mucho tiempo tomar la puerta correcta. Pues me voy a ir por aquí. No, no quiero ir allá.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking
Voy a
through
seguirle dando
doors?
en uno, ajá.
Again, honest answers, please.
Sí, soy honesta.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Is it too
You wouldn't mind
loud?
taking a look at it, would you?
Y
Perfect.
game
Let me
audio?
boot it up.
Oh,
In this
Oh.
game, the baby crawls left
El bebé,
towards
este es el
danger.
bebé que ustedes
You click the
decían.
button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life.
A ver.
I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ay, lo tengo que detener, ¿no? Sí, lo tengo que detener, ¿no? ¿Y si no lo detengo? ¡Ay,
You
no!
heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for you. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
No me
Thank you for
quiere porque es
playing. Your input was
materno.
extremely valuable. Oh,
Pues
hey,
sin
since my game was so
querer, ¿no?
awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
¿Qué? ¿En
Well,
serio,
Stanley, is this any
Minecraft?
better? At last, the one thing you've always
Minecraft?
desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough?
Hola,
Tell me that,
bienvenidos a este
Will
nuevo
it ever
directo.
be enough?
Vamos
Well,
a
I'll say
jugar
this. I'm done making things for you.
Minecraft.
From now on, I will only create to fulfill a
Sí,
greater
Minecraft
artistic
con
purpose. Watch this,
Stanley.
Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will
bueno, vamos a
go
construir.
here. No, here. And then...
No, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás haciendo?
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes,
Ay, ay.
it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own
Esto no es tu obra de
inadequacy.
arte, tú no creaste Minecraft.
But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
¿Quiere que entre ahí? ¿Es en serio? ¿Quiere que entre ahí? ¿Eso es tan sospechoso? No, no, señor. ¿Puedo hacer otra cosa? ¿Puedo saltar ahora sí? No me deja saltar. Y si le presiono, ¿puedo cavar? Inception. ¿Qué está pasando? El super crossover de hoy. ¡Qué cielo! Pero si no quiero entrar. ¿Y si no entro? ¿Salta? ¿No salta de alguna manera que saltes? No deja, bueno. Tendré que ir a mi destino con este señor loco.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it.
¿Diamantes?
We must
¿Diamantes?
rebuild it out of diamond.
¿Es
Diamond
algo? ¿Es algo?
everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
¡Ay! ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Que debemos seguir minando? Pero tú eres el único que está minando. Mejor enciérrame aquí. Kokoma, ahora estamos jugando Minecraft. Stanley se puso muy intenso y así que cambié el juego por Minecraft. Y aquí estamos en Minecraft.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Light. No sé. Dame una luz. ¿Qué hay por aquí? Vamos a acabar, vamos. Uy, se puso ya muy oscuro.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
No, new game, no, estaba entretenido.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love
Portal.
it. You
Portal,
trapped in a
¿es en
glass
serio?
box with no way out, listening to me talk.
Bueno,
Oh,
ahora
it's
vamos a continuar
inspired.
con
I couldn't have
Portal
done it any better
porque
myself. What
Stanley
is this
está muy
game even
aburrido.
supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
¿Es en serio? El juego dentro del juego del juego.
Oh, it's a
También te saca
puzzle.
a Half-Life.
Critical
¡Qué
thinking,
genial!
Stanley. Your forte.
No sabía que esto podía pasar aquí, en serio. No, yo nunca he jugado Portal, solo lo he visto. A ver, ¿qué se supone que tengo que resolver este puzzle? Tengo que oprimir este. ¡Ay! ¿Y eso qué es? ¿Qué tengo que hacer? ¿Meter el cubo por aquí? Ah, lo tengo que poner aquí. Pero no deja, no, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué clase de portal es este?
Genius.
¿Ya?
No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
¿Es en serio?
And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience.
¡Ay, no! ¡No! ¡No, no, 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 no! ¡No! ¿Esto qué es? ¿Esto es otro juego? No, esto es el mismo Stanley. Dice... ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? Ay, no sé qué está pasando. No veo nada, no veo nada. Esto está súper oscuro. Y se enojó, ya ni me habla. Ay, ¿qué es esto? No veo nada. Ay, ya hay luz, ya hay luz. ¿Lo apago? ¿Qué tenía que apagar? ¿Qué? Cuando cierras el juego, el narrador te sigue hablando. ¡Qué tortura! ¿Y ahora? ¿Qué es esto? ¿A dónde llegué? No funciona nada. ¿Puedo saltar? Tampoco puedo saltar esta vez. ¿Puedo entrar aquí? ¡Ay! ¿Qué pasó?
I wonder what he
¿Se bugueó
found.
otra vez? No.
If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
Feliz, la verdad.
He'll understand
Fuimos a
soon what I was
Minecraft
trying to tell
y a
him.
Portal.
He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon.
¿Qué?
Very
¿El final
soon.
estará pronto?
I can wait.
Y ahora se puso todo negro, o sea, yo. Hola Daniel, ¿cómo estás?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, esto sí es igual de nuevo. Esa puerta estaba abierta la otra vez. Desbloqueé un logro, no alcancé a leerlo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Ahora sí
admire
vamos
it.
por la puerta roja.
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
¿Qué
Stanley
pasará
was so
con la
bad
puerta
at following
roja?
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Espero no matarme. No salte. Y es lo primero que hago.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Todos creen que soy muy poderoso, ¿ok? Sí, claro. Hola, Daniel, ¿cómo estás? Ay, esto es otra cosa otra vez.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, no voy a ir aquí. Ciérrala la mejor.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Bueno, está bien. Ahora sí.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop.
No me está muriendo.
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped.
Bueno, sí, pero no.
And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
¿Qué me vas a mostrar? ¿Me puedo ir por aquí? ¡Ay, hay otro! ¿En serio? ¿Hay otro pilar por aquí? ¿Y por acá otro? ¿No? ¿Esa es la misma puerta? ¡No! Si me devuelvo... Oh, esto sí es un bucle. Yo que quería ser rebelde.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
¿Qué estamos buscando? Muy buena pregunta. ¿Qué es eso? Me paralicé por los encantos del narrador. Uy, ¿qué es eso?
Here, yes.
Una
Oh,
aurora
it's
boreal.
beautiful,
¿Qué es
isn't
eso?
it? If we just stay right here, right in this
Qué
moment with
bonito.
this place, Stanley, I think I
Si fueras
feel
buena gente te
happy.
creería.
I actually
¿Y si me caigo? Yo hay ganas de caerme siempre. A ver, ¿y si me caigo acá? Ah, no, no se cae. No hay forma de caerse, no. Yo quería caerme de nuevo.
No, wait. Where are you going? Right. Where were we?
A ver, ¿dónde estábamos? Pues dímelo tú. No me puedo quedar aquí. Seguramente que si me quedo aquí pasará otro final. Uy, ¿eso qué es? Está épico. Está genial, está genial. Uh, uh. ¿Y eso qué? A ver, ¿qué pasa si dejo llenar la pantalla de eso? ¿Si se va a llenar o no se va a llenar la pantalla de eso? Creo que no. Ah, ya se está cayendo, ¿no? Está pasando. A ver qué me dice. ¿No me va a decir nada? Si me devuelvo. Y está súper épico por aquí. Está genial. Qué contraste esto gris y esto súper colorido. Todos cierren sus ojos. Respiren profundo. Inhala. Exhala. Vamos a dormir. Relaja tu cuerpo. Piensa que eres uno solo con el universo. Relájate. Desestrésate. No recuerdes que esta mañana tu mamá te tiró una chancla a la cabeza. No lo recuerdes, no lo recuerdes. Olvida ese momento traumático. Olvídalo. Inhala. Exhala. Tampoco recuerden la vez que su crush les dijo que les gustaba otro. No, no piensen en eso ahora. No piensen en eso. Sigamos sin pensar en la vez que... Ya no sé qué es pensar. Me quiero quedar aquí, me quiero quedar aquí. Qué relajante, sí, está muy relajante. A ver, una vez más, inhalemos y exhalemos. Inhala y exhala. Inhale and exhale. Que no me acuerdo si se dice. Kyria, no pienses en eso, lo hace recordar. Sorry. Solo quería que se relajaran un poco. No piensen en la vez que jugaban ese juego online y se les fue la luz y la partida se dañó. No piensen en eso. Y ahora sí, inhalemos y nos vamos. Vamos. Let's go, ya vámonos. Ya se acabó, así como se acabó tu romance con
Stay
tu
away from those
novia
stairs. If you hurt
o
yourself,
novio.
if you die, the game will
Así
reset.
mismo se
We'll
acabó.
lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
¿Qué? ¿Por qué se puso así? Uy, llegamos a nada. ¡No!
Oh, thank God.
¿Cómo sabía
You
que me iba a
lived.
caer?
You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
¿Por cuál room? ¿Otra vez? ¿Y ahora qué hago?
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can
Aquí
both
podemos
be
ser
happy.
felices.
We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
¿Me quedo quieta entonces? ¿Qué quiere de mí este narrador? ¿Qué quieres de mí? ¿Qué quieres de mí? ¿Qué quieres de mí? ¿Que se vote otra vez, dices? Pues sí, vamos a botarnos otra vez, a tirarnos de allá. Vamos. Me voy a
Stanley,
tirar
go
otra
back.
vez.
There's nothing good that can come from this.
Lo siento, pero eso es lo que voy a hacer.
No. No. What do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Ah, por eso les gustaba este final, porque me iba a tirar. Les gusta que me caiga, lo sé. Ok. Inhala y exhala. ¡Ah! ¡No! ¡Me morí!
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
No voy a hacer eso por
My
ti.
God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill
¿En serio
yourself
que
to
no
keep
me
me
gusta
from
su
being
juego y por
happy.
eso me tiro?
Am I
¿Eso me
reading the
estás diciendo?
situation correctly?
Ok. No vean estos. Tápense los ojos. Tápense los ojos. No.
Or maybe you're just
Vaya,
getting a
estoy
kick out
muy
of it.
fuerte.
I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
No. Bueno. Pero esta puede ser la final. ¡Ah!
Is it over?
No.
It's going to restart, isn't it?
Mi brazo.
I'm going
Mi
back.
brazo. Mi brazo. Bueno, voy a dejar hasta aquí. Vamos a dejar hasta aquí. Estuvo muy crazy todo esto. Diablos. Pero creo que puedo guardar. Ay, sí, bueno, voy a guardar. Vamos a guardar esto. ¿Qué es eso? No sé qué es eso. Guardar. ¿Es esta? Sí, es esta. A ver, atrás. Eso, sí. Ay, bueno, quedó ahí la partida. Uy, eso estuvo crazy. Qué momento. Qué momento el que nos dejó el juego. Ay, muchas gracias. Abrisair. Daniel, ya sabes la respuesta. Soy muy antigua para ti. Sí, estuvo re loco este juego. No esperaba lo de Minecraft ni lo de Portal. Estuvo muy cool. Qué interesante. ¿Será que nos deja ver otro juego además de Half-Life? Muchas gracias, Daniel. El otro Daniel Pinedo. Ay, no te opongas. Nos vemos en la próxima. En serio. Hay que ver qué sigue pasando con este juego tan loco. Gracias, Miguel. Bueno, muchas gracias por estar aquí. A todos ustedes de nuevo. Gracias por esos 500 suscriptores, que no me lo esperaba, en serio. Todo ha sido muy rápido. La voz del narrador, sí, era súper dramático. No sé si voy a seguir con este, tal vez sí, para seguir mirando los otros finales. Pero no sé si mañana. Lo estaré pensando. Gracias a todos, gracias chat por el ánimo que me dieron cuando moría. Y por sus Fs también, hacen parte del camino. No olviden suscribirse y compartir. Ayudaría mucho a que esta flor siga floreciendo. Muchas gracias. Cuídense mucho y tengan muy buenas noches. No olviden tomar agüita. y que descansen mucho. Nos vemos en la próxima. Chao. Gracias, Daniel. Chao. Hasta la próxima. Saikano, enjoy yourself. Daniel, mini cuervo. ¿Cuervo? Mini cuervito. A mimir. Chao, cuídense mucho, que descansen. Nos vemos luego. Chao, chao. Chao, Miguel, chao. ¡Ah! ¡Chao!